welcome to the Knitting Project. My name is Sharon and I'm coming to you from Surrey in the UK, where I live with my family and my animals. Today is Friday the 9th of February 2024 and this is episode 148, I think. Should probably have looked that up before I said it, but I think it's 148. Could be 147. Don't know, but I think it's 148. Welcome if you are a new viewer. I have picked up a few new subscribers, so hello and welcome. This is my podcast all about my crafty life, really. I have got some knitting this week. I don't think I have anything else. I did do a little bit of crochet, but it was such a tiny little bit I haven't bought it. Maybe next week if I do a little bit more. I say next week, next time. I'm trying to go back to weekly, but that we all know that that's probably not going to happen at the moment. It helps that this setup is usable again because I've had a really major tidy up. Also, hello to my returning viewers. I've got sidetracked in my own intro there. Thank you so much for joining me again. I do appreciate you and I really appreciate your comments. I'm going to try not to so much this week, but no guarantees. I managed to cut out the so's more because I tend to say them at the beginning of a sentence and I can chop them, but the ums just appear and I don't even notice I'm doing them, so that I apologise for. I have a couple of finished objects. They are hiding in my box over here. So my first one is my Spin and Blether Advent socks. I love these. They are so pretty. I was watching The Lonely Knitter and she was doing hers, but I couldn't work out if we've got a different set because hers were starting with this colour and then I realised we just wound our balls the opposite direction. So I started that way and went that way, and she started that way but started with that one. Do you get what I mean? So check her podcast out. She's lovely. My yarn daughter. Not my actual daughter, my yarn daughter. I adopt her. So there we go. It's what did I do? I did a 2x2 twisted rib and I did do them on both the socks. That is important, as you will find out later. And it's this lovely rainbow of colours. I use the stripes, there we go, for the heels because I've only got size 5 feet. So by the time if I put in a contrast heel, cuff and toe, I wouldn't use all the stripes. So I just started on that green at the top there and I just ran out on the green on the bottom. So I did manage to get just about all of the colours in. So there we go, that's the sock. There is a pair of them and I've loved these. What I do need is my knitting journal. Hold on a second, I will be back. This is my knitting journal and I have all the details of everything in here. It's kind of my knitting bible now. So if I go to the front, you'll see a list of loads of projects, and if I've highlighted them, they're finished objects. So on this page I've got my Spin and Blether highlighted there in yellow and it's page 11, and this book is has page numbers, which is really helpful. If I go to page 11, 13, there we go. So it's got in the moss. There we go, it's got 11 in the corner. So these are my details. I only keep these basic. So I've got when I started them, which was the 6th of the 12th. When I finished them, which was the 19th of the 1st. I really did that during Advent. That was what bag they were in, but obviously they're not in a bag anymore. Vanilla socks, my recipe. Christmas socks for me. Made for me. 24 stripe Advent skein, 4-ply, 2.5mm needles. I've got a weight there because I've not weighed them yet. And then I've got the cuff was 2 stripes, the heel was 3, the foot was 10, the toe was 2.5, and the leg was 7. So far I have found that all the different Advent striped socks have a different number of rows in their colour repeat. So they are going to be different, but I have found that most dyers do it the same. So all my Spin and Blether socks should have 2 in the cuff, 3 in the heel, 10 in the foot, and etc. So that I'll know for next year how many to do for each without having to work it out again, as long as I haven't lost this book, of course, which is always a possibility. So there, yeah, that helps me out in that respect. Love these, love the colourway, love the colour choices here, especially like that half. Really liked that half. And I've got, so that on that page has got all the details, and then the next page has got photos of my finished object. There are a few things that I finished in here. So that was my Cozy Knitter socks. Yeah, there's a few things that have been finished in here that I have actually ticked off the list. Mostly this year, because I only started this in January, book. But I have started listing all of my whips as I'm coming across them. So I'm currently on page 67, which is nearly 35 whips, which is a scary amount, I have to say. And they're all in one place at the moment, which is in there on a whip wall. And I'm kind of shamed myself into making sure I get some projects finished before I start some more. Having said that, I have got a new cast on that I am planning, which I will show you later. So that is that one. I'm going to need this again, aren't I? Oh, I need to remember I have a candle lit over there and don't set fire to things. That would not be good. Let's have my coffee. Slurp of my coffee and calm down. I feel like I'm going at 100 miles an hour. Oh, so next up, that's a finished object, is my, is it called a fresh powder cowl? Again, look it up. Have a quick look up of it. Fresh powder cowl, page 29. It's going to really help with the podcast, this. So yeah, this is the fresh powder cowl, which was from Knit Vent 2013. It's by Curious Handmade. And the yarn was Lay Family Yarn Warm and Toasty Merino DK, and their floof, just a plain floof. Its finished weight is 83 grams. It was knit on 5.5mm needles. I started it on the 13th of Jan and finished on the 17th of January. That took me all of 4 days. This is a fantastic gift knit, like majorly fantastic gift knit. It's cabled, can you see? Cables are really easy. It's a really easy pattern repeat. I followed the chart that was on there and it was so simple. I used stitch markers for each section so I didn't mess up the pattern repeats, and oh, so easy but so effective. It looks amazing. It's super soft because I did the DK and the floof together, and really wearable. I'm not going to put it on just because I have got lipstick on and I don't want to put lipstick on it because this is going in my box of gifts. But it is a fantastic gift knit. If you need a quick gift knit, the Fresh Powder Cowl by Curious Handmade, cannot recommend it more highly. It's beautiful. Love it. I've loved that. I love knitting it as well. And like I said, it knit up so quickly. Right, so that's my finished objects. On to my whips. I've got my socks, which are right in front of me, so I'm going to do my socks first. And they're living in my Sherry Iris Summer Flowers bag. It's probably one of my most favourite bags. It's just so spring-like, and not that the weather's spring-like here today. We have had so much rain. Even the puddles have puddles now. The bag. And these are just some vanilla shorty socks. Now these are a whip. I think I started them during the Summer Wool Festival, which I think was in July. I think I need to, I'm cast them on to take to that, not 100% certain, but they are a beautiful kind of spring, gives me spring vibes with the green yarn. I think it must be a hedgerow, but I have no clue. It looks like a hedgerow to me, with this beautiful purple contrast mini. I don't know if that came in the sock set or whether that's a mini I put with it. I'm not normally that good at matching colours, so I'm going to go with it probably came as a sock set. So I'd already, where was I on this when I picked this up? I was on the gusset decreases when I picked this up again of this first sock. So I picked this up again on Monday. Today's Friday. And I've finished that sock and I am probably at pretty much the same place as I picked it up on this sock. So this, once I've got this cast off, it will be one of my whips down from my great big whip wall, and that is the excuse I'm going to use to cast on my next project. But also that's part of a knit along and it's kind of relevant, so you'll see that in a minute. If you see my Instagram post, you'll probably know what I'm talking about. But again, so this is what I was talking about. I looked at that, I was like, oh, is that a twisted rib? Clearly not a twisted rib, because that's a twisted rib. It's much neater than just a 2x2. But that I've done a twisted on that, but at the time I couldn't be bothered. And as a dear friend said to me, nobody's going to notice. Only I know it's there, and you lot now that I've shown it to you, but you know, if you spot them, let me know. So again, I've got a little cast on bit at the top in the contrast, heel, and then contrast toe. I think I've got enough left for the toe. I've got that much left, so hopefully that'll be enough to do a toe. I could weigh it, but who wants to do that? It's much more fun to try it and see whether you run out. Who doesn't love a lovely game of yarn jigging? So yeah, that's hanging out in this bag. That's the beautiful cake of yarn. So pretty and spring-like. My brain is in spring, even if the weather's not. It's because I saw catkins and the snowdrops are out and cherry tree is in bud. Hasn't quite made it to blossom yet, but everything's yelling spring at me, so I went with a spring whip. As it turns out, I've got enough whips that I can probably cover any desire that I want. I was saying again to the same dear friend yesterday, I want to knit a dust of snow wrap, but luckily I have one started in my whip wall. Knit that because I've got one, but I want to get these finished first. But they should be finished by the end of today, but I've got quite a lot on today, so maybe not, it might be tomorrow. So that's that one that I've been actively working on. Since I last saw you, I worked on my sweet shop blanket, which is living in here. It needs to go into a bigger bag. It's bursting out at the seams now. Either that or I need to put the yarn in a different bag, one of the two. So that's living in a bag by Fruitful Fusion, the lovely Ishrat, which is gorgeous. Really love this bag, really love this bag, but it is a bit small, so I might even put the yarn in a different bag and attach it to that bag, or find a whole different bag for it. So this is the Sweet Shop blanket by Penrose Knits, Laura Penrose, and you all have seen this on a lot of podcasts I think recently. It's knit with using friend growing weight yarn held double, and I love this. These are all minis from Jules's Beautiful Bits basket, or our swap we did for Christmas, and it's just, oh, it's just stunning. I really want to work on this again. The only reason I'm not working on it at the moment is that I need to start a new square, and I just haven't had the time to sit down and start the new square. Apparently I had the time to sit down and wind the mini for the new square. I need to sew in my ends for that square as well, because I'm really good, I don't leave my ends, so I will sew in those ends before I can start my new square. I need to do that. It's all very purpley at the moment, but I think the next square goes on, oh no that doesn't, it goes on that one. We'll go down there, it will attach to that green one. That's where I'll do my next one and go down that line. I love this colour here, it's so pretty. But yeah, it's got a bit purpley in that corner. I need to break that up a little bit. So pretty, so pretty. Love working on this, so much fun. As I said, I just need to start it off again, and these squares literally take me, I can do a square in a day now because I know what I'm doing, because it's so familiar. It's easy, very easy. So if you are doing one of these, struggling to start with, do know it does get an awful lot easier. Just trying to see if I can spot this in my book. To say when I started it. Why don't we just go to the index at the front? Because that would be so much quicker. Just enjoy looking at it while I look it up. Switch up blanket, page 19. There we go. That would have been so much quicker, wouldn't it? 19, there we go. So I started it on the 13th of September. Did not realise it was that long ago. Wow. I wonder how I knew that when I was writing this up. I'm using 4mm needles, and the plain yarn is just some sparkle undyed I had. I think that I got that for when I was doing some dyeing. So I'm just using that up. I've got one more of these, and then I'm going to need to buy some more for this, because I don't think I'll have enough to do all the minis I have. Although they'll reach a stage where the blanket's big enough, because it grows quite quickly because the squares are so big. Right, I think that's enough about that one. I'm really enjoying it. As I said, possibly needs a bigger bag because it is not really fitting in here anymore. Although it has just gone back in much better. So that's that one. And then I also, whilst, this is an FO actually, this is in the wrong section. Whilst I was clearing up all of this mess, I came across some yarn that Ian brought me back from Italy. Bless him, he does his best. But this was baby yarn, 100% acrylic, and it is so scratchy. I would never put a baby in it in a million years. I wouldn't put myself in it, let alone a baby. But I think it will make really good dishcloths. Because it's really scrubby. It's so rough. I reckon it will scrub really well. That's if the acrylic will soak up any water in the first place. But yeah, so I'm making dishcloths out of it. I figured, do you know what? I need some new dishcloths. These are just plain squares, knitted corner to corner, and I just picked these up. They're by my bed, by my bed. No, they're by my desk. And if I'm stuck on a call or anything, I'll just grab it and cast one on. So that's that one. I've got pretty much all the ball left. There's so much left. I am using 4mm needles for these. I'm using the 4mm needles, and yeah, I've got other colours, but they're not, haven't got them to hand at the moment. But I dread to think how many I'm going to get out of here, because that wasn't a small cloth and I've hardly used any. But never mind. Make loads. So this is an old friend that I've not had out in a little while. So this is living in a... Actually, don't know whose bag this is. This is a Sokan Joe bag. It might be a Sokan Joe bag. Yes, there we are. Christmas bag. It needs to go into a non-Christmas bag, but I haven't gone around to doing that yet. And this is the Understated by Hohi Locatelli that I was knitting last year. I think you've seen this on the podcast. If not, you definitely saw it during Vlogtober. That's how far long ago it was. Now, I am on the body. In fact, it's nearly finished. It's so close to being finished. We've got, here we go. This is all Lay Family yarn. Regular viewers of the podcast know I am a huge fan of Lay Family yarn, and Kelly is a dear friend who is one of the dyers behind it. She dyes with her husband Nick, and she very kindly gifted me the minis at the top here, which were for her Rainbow Chronicles set. I can't remember what month it was, but they are really pretty. Sort of these autumnal colours. And then this gorgeous main colour is called Poodle Paws, and I love this colour so much. I've helical knitted it, and as you can see, I'm nearly there with the body. I haven't got much more to do now. It's really growing, and I needed an emergency knit this week, which had to be vanilla, and that I hadn't got those socks started at that point. So I knew that this was just going round and round and round. So I was like, well, do you know what? I'm just going to grab that and then I'll carry on with that. So I've got 2 balls. This is all I've got left. And I'm going to keep going and then do the rib. So it's going to be nice and long, and I really haven't got that much left. I think there's about 40 grams on that one and about 52 on this one. And this is DK. So this is DK merino nylon. I think it's merino nylon. I don't know, but it's definitely merino yarn. Okay, so that's my Understated. As I said, it's Understated by Hohi Locatelli. it's not the first one I've knit. Next up is my, what is it? Frog It, Finish It or Fudge It. And that today is in here, which is, what's the name of this bag? Oh, I can't remember. Is it in here? Yes. Taffety Mouse, that's it. So it's in my Taffety Mouse bag. I love their bags so much. And this, I know what this is. And this is going to be a frog. This is a frog. Okay, so this was the Selby Mittens by Skeined Knits. Nothing against the pattern, but the yarn was very wrong for this. This is some very rustic yarn that I got in Ireland. It's a Donegal tweed from Donegal, along with its friend. But even though the pattern is for an Aran, I think this must be more than an Aran, because it's bulletproof. I mean, they'd be warm, I'll give them that, but you know, now I'm seeing them in the camera, I'm like, actually, they're quite nice. I've even pulled the needles out because I was going to frog it. You know what else I'm thinking? It's actually quite nice as a little cuff. They're quite warm. But I've pulled the needles out now. These were supposed to be for me as well, so will I ever do them? I didn't like them, which is why I pulled them out, because I didn't like the yarn. But actually, okay, I'm going to put this over to you guys. What do you think I should do? Put it in the comments below. Let me know what you think. And I'm going to put that back in there. It hasn't even got the needles with it. And next time, we'll have a look through the comments and I'll make a decision as to whether I'm keeping it, whether I'm finishing it, frogging it, or fudging it. Now, a fudge for that would be to make a second little wrist warmer for your wrist, which I quite like the idea of, because they were quite cute. That did not go the way I was expecting. I was expecting to get one less whip out of that. So there you go. That didn't work. Oh dear. I guess if I want to make colour work mitts, I'm covered. Right, let's go to Happy Mail, because why not? I've got a little bit of Happy Mail today. I have got... Right, this is going to crinkle. I don't want to take them out of the bag, so I apologise for the crinkling, because it's like really crinkly crinkles, just so to warn you. But I have got these from Lovey Juice from Stranded Dye Works. I saw these and loved them so much. So this is Transcendence, this is Crayon, and this is Popcorn Garland. Oh, they're just beautiful. So I'll show you the back. Oh, that pop of colour there. That's what sold that one for me. And those speckles there sold that one for me. And that great big lovely pop of pinky purple there. Oh, now I did not buy these to go together. I was thinking maybe some stranded socks, I wasn't sure. But having seen that as a pack, I am thinking that if there's a 3 colours shawl, that would make a lovely 3 colour shawl. So I'm not going to take it out of this. I'm going to store it like that, with the thought that if there is a 3 colour shawl out there that I want to do, I have a pack ready. So we'll leave that as it is. The lovely Nikki of the Sheep and Cheerful podcast, Clara Peggotty on Instagram, is having a de-stash on Instagram, and I managed to grab one of these, which is Desertfista Dye Works, one of her Christmas striping colourways. This is Father Christmas. I love Desertfista Dye Works, even though I cannot say it. I was like, oh, I'm going to grab that. That's coming to live with me. And yeah, love that for striped socks at Christmas. And The next one is this one, which is actually undressing itself, which I'm not too sad about because I am about to cake it up. I've got my ball winder on the end of my desk here. And this is, you will have seen this everywhere, I'm sure. This is Herkle Durkle, which is a collab between Lay Family Yarn and the lovely Gaynor of Tales of Cuckoo Land. And there is also going to be a make-along using this yarn. And I was thinking, originally I was thinking socks, and I'm still thinking socks actually. I was wavering with doing another red robin shawl because I think it would look really pretty as a shawl, but I don't wear shawls that much. That's the issue. So I'm wondering whether just to stick with socks. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see whether I cast it on next week. So I'd like to take part in the knit along. And my last one is the Brights box from Lay Family Yarn. And I've only just got round to opening this, so I can only show you day one because that's all I've opened. But day one, oh wow. If this is what the rest of the box is like, I'm so excited. Oh, it's got to be my favourite colour ever. Oh. Yeah. I'm in love. And I'm not allowed to cast it on because I've got so many whips at the moment. And I was going to reason, because I'd frogged my Selby mitts, I was going to say, right, so that counts as a whip out, so this could be a whip in. But now I haven't frogged those mitts, I can't count it as that. And the finished socks have to be the Herkle because that's a knit along. So I actually need to finish something else in order to be able to cast these on. So I'm not going to open the rest of these yet, I don't think. I just don't know what to do with them. Originally I was going to make some scrappy socks. There's 15 parcels, 10 grams maybe. I don't know how much that weighs. But now I'm thinking it needs to be something epic, like a sweet shop blanket or something. Anyway, that's all my happy mail, I think. I am done with the happy mail. I've got one more thing I want to show you, and then I think we're there for this week. So what I wanted to show you was this, and I love this. You can get these pouches from Amazon. It comes with these rings. Not sure why it only comes with 5 and not 6. I assumed with the first pack of these I bought that it was a mistake, but the second pack also only has 5. So although there's 6 holes, there's only 5 rings, but it still works, so it really isn't a problem. And I've got a needle gauge attached to it. So one thing I've always struggled with is needle storage, circular needle storage, but this really works for me. So the first one I've got is just like odds and ends notions, but so what I do is I put the needles in, and then I put a little tab in with the size inside that you can sort of see through it. Put it in the inside so that if it does lose its sticky and just drops down, it's at least dropped inside. And yeah, I love how it is. They're sort of in number order, so that was 6.5. This is 5.5. Then I've got a 4 and a 5. That's a 5. That's a 4.5. That's a 4, and then we get down to the smaller needles. So as I find the sizes, I can just add them in because the rings twist around, so you can just add them in wherever you need to, so you can keep them in order. And then at the very beginning here, I've got 2.5mm needles. That's all my sock needles, and there's about 6 or 7 pairs in there, but there's still loads of room to get more in. You can still get more in there, so it works out really well. At some point this might become a bit unwieldy, and at that point I might split it, but I'm not sure how I would split it. I might split it wooden needles and metal needles, which I think actually makes more sense than splitting it in sizes. So I might split it so I've got wooden needles in one and metal needles in the other. But at the moment I don't need to split it, so that's not actually an issue. But this is really working for me. It's like this. These two things have really worked, which is, I mean, I had my lovely Tilly Flop one last year, which I adored, but that didn't work as well as this is working. I've also got the Knitter bullet journal this year. I haven't even written in that. I don't know whether I'm going to keep that alongside this or whether I'm just going to stick with this. The annoying thing with that is it is a 2024 journal, So if I don't use it, it's kind of a waste. I could de-stash it maybe. That might be a thing. It's a shame because I'm really excited about getting it and using it, but then I discovered this method, and this is just so much better for me because I can just record what I actually want to record. Also in this, I've got podcast notes, which would have been useful when I started this. This is indeed episode 148. So I've got my podcast notes in here as well, which is even better because then I can, couldn't remember if I'd shown you fresh powder wrap, but I could tell I hadn't because I hadn't finished it till after that podcast date. So having that in here was really useful. So I think that didn't work. I think we're going to stick with this. So I might try and de-stash that. I mean, it's February now, so I need to get on with that if I'm going to do that, because obviously it's getting on. But that's it, I think, for me this week. I think that's everything to show you. I'm glad I'm back in my space recording. I am getting there with sorting it all out. I'm going to give you a tour once I've sorted it, including my whip wall of shame. I've got a couple of friends that have seen my whip wall of shame. I've sent you a photo out to a couple of them, and yeah, one of them is keeping me very much on the straight and narrow about not casting on anything else. So I was all ready to cast on at least 2 new things yesterday. She was like, no, don't do it. And it was just as well because then I made real progress on that sock. So I think the fact that I'm motivated to get some of these things done, and then also, as I was saying, I was talking to a different friend and saying it's all very well, but you know, I have urges to knit on certain projects, but then at the moment the urge is the dust of snow wrap. Well, I've got one of those in there somewhere. There's also that wrap that was knit vent this year that's kind of like a dust of snow, so I could also knit that as to scratch that itch as well, but I've got to find it first, and that's why I'm writing what project bags things are in. So if I found them, if I've looked in the bag, they're in here now. I'm still going to do frog it, finish it or fudge it with you, because I can write in the bag which one I chose to do, but write in the book which one I chose to do. But at the moment I'm trying to get everything into the book, so at least I know what I've got. I know what project bag it's in, so if I do feel like knitting a certain project, I can go, oh, I want to knit a vanilla sock. Oh, look, there's that vanilla sock that's not finished. Or, oh, I fancy a lacy sock today. Oh, look, there's that lacy sock that's not finished. I have both those options, believe me. I think so far I've only found one lacy sock that I've not finished, which is the summer flower sock from last year. I've only got one of those on the go. So, as I said, so far, that's all I found. Right, as I said, I think I'm done. I haven't really got any life stuff to update you on because my life has either been work or tidying up in here, and that's it. I did go to the Ashdown Forest last week. There will be footage of that, so following on will be any like little bits of footage that I've got that's kind of like a vlog footage. It might be some of the dogs playing, but there is definitely some Ashdown Forest footage. So once I'll put that on at the very end, so that'll just be, you know, gentle music and a sunset, which it was such a beautiful sunset. And the day that we went was the first of the month, so I'd had a really busy work day, so it was just so nice just to be standing there watching this beautiful colour play on the sky and just not thinking about life for a while. So that was really lovely. But right, I need to clear up because it's all very well tidy in my office, but once I've done a podcast it looks like a bomb's dropped. So I'm hoping to see you next week. If not, I'll see you very soon. Take care. What you found, Nala? What are you playing with? Have you got a hexie puff? What are you? A puppy again?